Liberty's moving.
The 10:15 event's been moved inside to the Indian Treaty Room.
10:15 is American Fisheries?
Yes, sir. They're giving you a 200-pound halibut.
Janie, make a note. We need to schedule more events where somebody gives me a really big fish.
Yes, sir.
Janie, I'm kidding.
Of course,
Hey,
sir.
Cooper.
Morning, Mr. President.
Mr. Rothschild asked to have a moment with you this morning, sir.
Is he upset about the speech last night?
He seemed concerned.
Well, it wouldn't be a Monday morning unless Lewis was concerned about something I did Sunday night. You skipped the whole paragraph. And Monday morning it is.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
This is Cheapseat Reviews.
Hello, and thank you for listening to Cheapseat Reviews, the podcast that explores the Hollywood film industry for the greater good.
The greater good.
I don't know why that made me laugh, but it did. I mean, I know you're always going to do it. You've been doing it since you've been
like at least 500 times.
Well, since this is episode 331, maybe not 500, but
was it not with you guys? Okay.
You've been cheating on us with other podcasts.
I might be.
No.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. I understand. I mean, if you're gonna do it, might as well do it with a good podcast. Let's see. Hot Fuzz was episode 85. So you've been doing this since roughly then is when you kind of started that. So
like the mid 90s.
Yeah. Okay. Well. Okay. Actually, yeah. You probably didn't pick it up until after all that. So yeah. So we're talking 200 and something episodes is the point, I guess. I don't know if there was even a point. The point is that this is episode 331, and this evening we're talking about the American president.
Which one?
The. Like the Ohio State University. It's just the American president.
The American president. Okay.
Yeah. All of your middle names are long. I don't know why. I was feeling like the Sorkin vibe where I had to have like more words than are necessary. Okay. So I'm Sean Allred, and joining me tonight is Andrew. The Situation Room seems like a weird place to make a joke, Jemison.
Well, actually, my bedroom is called the Situation Room, and I like to make jokes in there. Just say. Actually, it was once called the bathroom was actually once called the Situation Room.
Sure,
but I ended up in pretty deep crap.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
see what I did there?
I did. That's nice. Do you have like a handprint scanner to get into the Situation Room? Is that how you have like a thumbprint scanner to get in, or something like that?
It was retina. It's retina.
Yeah, and rectal.
Yeah. Well,
you weren't expecting that one. Also joining us is Sam. Michael J. Fox looks way too young to be a senior advisor to the president Vector.
But he was like 80 when he was in this role, so that makes complete sense. Michael J. Fox has always trended young, I believe.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
And just so you know, Sean.
Yeah.
Trying to find an unusual way to kill you.
Sure.
In this episode.
As you do.
I would certainly not say on any kind of podcast that goes over the air that you have some sort of threat against the president on this podcast. So I certainly would never say that to get you in trouble with anybody.
Man. So, yeah, in case the Secret Service is listening. That's nice. I just assumed that you would send me to Syria or Libya, wherever that janitor was about to die, and put me next to him or something.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
I mean, that's literally the only death in the movie, so I just assumed that I was going to die next to the janitor.
No, I guess not. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's fine. And making her podcasting debut. Never has before she been on a show, and here it is. Joining us tonight is Melissa, is only here because she thought we were playing video games Apple.
Hello? He's not lying. I mean,
it is so great to have you. Thank you for coming on. And
I feel shorted in a way.
Oh,
that's the whole goal of this podcast. So
Awesome.
yeah,
Heck.
we short our listeners every week.
yeah, pretty much by about
Mission accomplished.
by about an hour's worth of their life.
Sean actually drove up in a white van and said, "Hey, you want to play video games? Get in the van."
Yeah. I have video games and candy in the van.
Yeah.
And instead,
I have
it's
security
a podcast.
footage that backs that up.
Yeah,
There you go.
And now you're on a podcast. It's awesome to have you on. Like, so for real, for those who listen and care, Melissa, we met playing video games. We got tired of getting beat by your squad, so we decided to join you.
Yeah,
and then
that's true. That is true.
Just in kind of conversation in between, matches and whatever, we found out that you like the movies, and frankly, you seem to know more about them than we did. So we thought, well, gosh, we like having smart people on the show. That
at least one.
At least one. Well, that's why I'm saying we like to have smart. That's why I say we like to invite smart people on the show. Because if we insert the IQ higher, then the average gets brought up. You know what I'm saying? Like. Like she is the Vanderbilt and we're the SEC. You know what I'm saying? Like Vanderbilt.
Are you sure you got the right person out of my squad to join? I'm not sure that applies here, but we'll go with it.
Yeah, we're going to stick with it. So tonight we're doing the American president because, well.
Which one?
Again, the American president.
All right. Just I'm trying to figure out which one we're on. So,
I mean, it's obvious.
Was it Bartlett?
It was not President Bartlett, and it was really weird seeing.
That trips me up every time I see this movie. By the way,
yeah. So this was my first time seeing this movie.
Really?
Yeah, it was.
So you were a virgin president?
Okay, sure.
Yeah,
it's a weird way to say it.
Yeah.
What about you, Andrew? You're nodding your head. Was this the same for you?
Yeah, it was, and my wife was really surprised that I'd never seen it. Because apparently she had seen it like 6 times. Yeah, I've never seen it.
I've seen it several times, actually.
I think I've seen like bits and pieces of it. I remember, I guess maybe middle school, my parents might have been watching it or something, and I was in and out of the room or something. I do remember.
I was never allowed to watch the heathen Sorkin leaning leftist type of stuff. So,
it would have looked weird on the black and white
then.
television show.
I'm not going to deny that. Yeah, sure.
That's funny. No, I just for no reason other than I just didn't or wasn't interested. I mean, in '95, let's see, I was 8th grade. 9th grade, right? Yeah, 8th grade. So I definitely wouldn't have cared about this in the theater or anything like that. And I, my parents didn't watch it, so we didn't have it in the house. So yeah, I just missed it.
I remember renting this on it might have even been tape, and watching it while a girlfriend is on the couch with me. Sure. I remember that.
I think. Well, you were already at voting age when this movie came out, anyway. So.
So it was relevant.
Yeah, like this was like research for you, opposition research. That's what you should have told your parents. I'm doing opposition research.
Doing opposition research. There you go.
I'm seeing what the left is saying about us right now. That's nice. That's great. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Sam, why don't you go ahead and start us off with your 5-word review, sir?
Do I have to?
No. I mean, I guess we could make someone else do it, but usually you do it.
All right. I've got 2. And the first one is an angry speech wins every time.
Yeah, nice.
And then my second one, and it's basically just a West Wing warm up.
Okay, yeah.
And this is, I don't know, I think this movie is going to be hard to review because it's basically it is not a chick flick, but it totally follows the usual romantic comedy formula, right? You got 2 people who are not on the same page, get together, they find that they like each other, they get into a relationship, they get angry at each other, and then somehow something that somebody does brings usually brings the woman back into his arms.
Yeah.
So
that's
and that could describe 1,000 romantic comedies.
Yeah, the trope the only trope that I wrote was basically what you just said, is that the things are going well. Excuse me, things are going well, but the thing that's in the background, that's like the unspoken thing that we as the viewer are aware of, but both parties aren't aware of. That's the thing that can mess up the relationship, and then one has to do the big romantic gesture to repair the thing.
Exactly.
Like that's literally in every Hallmark movie.
Yeah. So then you boil it down to the merits. And first of all, I got to say, I love Sorkin. I just love Sorkin. I think this is early Sorkin. I don't think he's got into quite his groove yet. When you compare to things like Social Network and some of the other stuff we saw, not Magnificent Seven, the Trial of the Chicago Seven.
Yeah.
And things like that. But this, I'm glad he did this, because I wonder if this got him tripped up into the West Wing universe, right? Where he was like, man, this might be something fun to write about, because I would watch West Wing over this any day of the week. But I can see the spots in this movie where that inspiration came from, and that makes me appreciate it a little bit. Now, the story, the story of this movie in terms of why these people are together, what is the great chaos maker, what is the problem maker in this? I don't know if I totally feel it out, but I might listen to you guys talk about it a little bit more. But I didn't buy the speech at the very end when he's going off, right? It didn't hit me the right way that I'm like, this is going to change the minds of voters and everybody's going to go his way. I saw what can sometimes be called right through Sorkin's self righteousness with some of the characters he writes, and then that's when Sorkin does not work for me.
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
It's a little bit over the top, and it was like, if you're actually listening to what he says, he would it's very polarizing, so he would have an issue, and he's not going to win over viewers or voters that way anyways.
Yeah, not the voters that are going with the argument that his opponent is presenting, right? Now us as sympathetic people to him are like, yeah, go for it, right? But it just didn't work.
Well, we're certainly supposed to feel good for him, and we're supposed to have that, I'm all excited part for him. Like, we're supposed to get there. And the speeches, I mean, the words are great, and the fact that the press corps is just in awe of what's happening. and Sorkin he likes to repeat himself to prove a point. So when he says, if you want to have if you want to make this about character, come, me, you attack me or whatever. Like, he says that like 3 times in the thing, and that's what Sorkin likes to do. He likes to repeat to emphasize the point. The part that really just smacked me upside the face with a bat is when he literally says, "We're coming for your guns."
Yeah,
and
that would not go over well.
I thought, oh, okay, sure. So fun side story is that when President Obama was elected, at the time I was working as an installer, freelance installer, and I got called to go do this install. We were installing security cameras. There's a shop just down the street from where I live now that makes firearms. They make guns, and their biggest seller it was their brand. It wasn't an AR, because AR stands for Armalite, so it wasn't an AR. But basically, it's that model. It's that AR-15 model. And the guy's like, I can't make them fast enough. He said, I'll make 1,000 in, I don't know, let's say a week, and they're already sold. And because President Obama was elected, because people thought that he was coming for their guns. And so
same reason why ammo is hard to find right now.
Right, exactly. And so I remember thinking at the time, this is a really interesting reaction to a president that at no point has ever said, "I'm coming for your guns." But then you hear Michael Douglas's speech, and I think maybe this is why people think that. I don't know.
Mhm.
So anyway, but it was a cool. His again, that his shop where he whatever on the top floor, it was like an attic, and he had all this World War II memorabilia up there. It was really cool. He had like old Thompsons. He also has the other part of his shop was he would build World War II era weapons as props, and he would sell them to prop stores.
Like movie stuff.
Yeah, so like if you're gonna
Oh, cool.
make Saving Private Ryan, you're gonna need 300 M1 Garands. So he would make them non-firing, so they would look like the weapon that you could hold and pull the trigger, but nothing would happen. So anyway, weird side note, but it's just to your point, Sam, and I think Melissa, to your point, is like the inspirational speech was inspirational if you
ignored the soaring music, and if you ignored how he was delivering it. If you got down to those words, wrote them on a piece of paper, it would be like, whoa, wait a second.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of people in the middle here who are not going to be happy with this at all.
Yeah. So Andrew, what you got?
Well, mine's fairly straightforward, actually. And I did have to create a word to make this 5 words. So,
perfect.
Well, I had to merge some words, I guess. So,
that's what they're calling it nowadays. Okay.
Yeah. Successful-ish. That's the first word. Successful-ish comedy love story. Well, sorry, political comedy love story. There we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
Successful-ish.
It's not a bad movie.
It's not, and I don't know how many times that you can. I don't know how often we see a movie that is in all 3 genres that is done well. Usually we see a film that's done in one or the other, or maybe they hit 2 of those boxes. But this one, I felt like, everything was pretty good. What you were talking about, the speech, that bothered me too.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't quite buy it, but overall, I was very pleased with the movie, and I did feel like it went on a little bit long. I don't know why. I don't know if it was my mood or whatever, but but it was enjoyable though. I thought that the comedy was appropriate and still relevant, but the movie itself is kind of dated in some aspects. But yeah, I enjoyed it.
I like the idea of a president who is trying to date. That is kind of funny.
Different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean,
because how would?
No, please go ahead.
I mean, how would that be handled? I don't think that would be handled very well. I think that either side would probably pull on it a little bit, or maybe a lot. But I think that handling it the way that he did was probably not the way to go about it, because he's like, oh, let's just put this off. Nobody really cares, completely ignoring the whole, hey, I'm dating a lobbyist, by the way. Huge conflict of interest and ethics right there.
Yeah.
That kind of bothered me about the movie too, because, it just did. And that whole scenario of a president dating a lobbyist, I don't know that would work out well in today's society, let alone, I don't know.
I think the one part, sorry, Andrew, I know I just jumped on you, but I think the one part of the lobbyist bit that doesn't bother me is the fact that she's a lobbyist on the side of him. I know that I see what you're saying. It is kind of a conflict of interest because she is, but he's for her lobby. It's not like he was dating someone from the NRA. Like that, I think would that be worse or better? I don't know.
It's the same.
I guess
it's not. It's the same.
I guess. It didn't. I don't know. I never cared about that. Honestly, it didn't. That part never really bothered me because it was like, okay, he's dating this lawyer and whatever. But okay, what were you gonna say, Andrew?
Well, I was just gonna say, I think the closest thing that we've seen to this, and I say we, mainly just Sam, because he's the only one that was around really when it happened. But I think the closest thing we've seen in the political world is Charles and Diana. And she wasn't someone that was, an opposing belief or a lobbyist or anything like that. But to see how the world reacted to a person who is, he wasn't. I mean, he was looked at as the heir to the throne at that time, and still is in some aspects. But that was kind of, I guess, going back and watching The Crown and going back and watching some documentaries about Princess Diana.
Uh-oh. Did we lose him?
His internet's been a little funky all day anyway.
A little shaky. Yeah. Front row.
Well, while he's...
Oh.
Did he crash?
I don't know.
All right. Well...
He's staring into my soul, though.
Yeah, he really is. It's great. He does have lovely eyes. Melissa, do you have one? Do you have a 5-word review you want to share?
I do. I've got 2. I couldn't decide on it.
Great.
First one's kind of a pun on you guys' name.
Oh, perfect.
In the movie, he says something about like, how's the view from the cheap seats, AJ? Right? So I just kind of put, it's pretty good view from the cheap seats. It kind of, it's just a pretty good movie.
All right,
it's not great, but it's pretty good. But the other one I had was, it's good, you blowhole, because he says that in the movie too. He said he went to Stanford, you blowhole.
Yeah, I do remember that part. Yeah, that's great.
Growing up, my mom and dad let me watch a whole bunch of movies that that they were into and they kind of liked. So this one was like high up on their list. I watched it a lot with my dad, and I always liked it because I was a pretty sarcastic person, and I still am. So this movie is chock full of like one-liner sarcastic quotable references.
Absolutely.
And if you guys know anything about me, I'm about the quotable things about TV shows and movies. So I always like this movie just because of that, because the humor in it, I really enjoy the humor in it because he's such a smart aleck and says some things, and his staff say some things, and they have good chemistry there, and I always like that. The chemistry of the cast is very good in this movie, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh.
Agree. How fun would it have been if Michael J. Fox would have been able to stay on, like, for The West Wing? I think he would have been perfect on The West Wing.
Well,
as well as some of the other characters in this movie, I think would have been fun on The West Wing.
I mean, he would eventually go on to do Spin City.
Mm-hmm.
Not much. Well, I would say much longer. It was probably about a decade after this. Trying to think, when did he do it? Let's see. Spin City was in 96, just a couple years later, from 96 to 01. So, it would actually been, honestly, it would have been pretty neat for him to go from Spin City into West Wing. But I think at that point, life was getting a little bit more difficult for him with the Parkinson's.
Which is sad. I like Michael J. Fox.
Well, he did Boston Legal in 06.
Yeah.
And but he did the Stuart Little movies, but that's just voiceover. And Atlantis: The Lost Empire. So, and Homeward Bound. Sorry for that awkward pause. Andrew was texting us. We're texting him back and forth trying to figure out what's going on. His internet crashed. He's loading back in, but apparently my picture is still staring at him. He said, "You're staring at me disappointedly." But I mean, Sam, to your point, you mentioned earlier this movie's kind of hard to review a little bit because we're such fans of The West Wing, and so to me, because I've watched West Wing like 5 times, and then now this movie once. This movie for me was almost like fan service, right? Because it was like, oh hey, they're in West. Oh, and they're in West Wing. Oh, and she's So there are times when, like, and it's not their fault. Anna Devere Smith, who plays the press secretary in the movie, is the national security advisor in the West Wing. So she's way more dry, way more serious. She's Dr. McNally. Like, she's this force, and in this movie she's like the old go shuck, like this happy-go-lucky, and I'm like, this is wrong. I know you're acting and you're doing a really good job of it, And I can see why you would get further, you would get more work in the West Wing because you're really good at what you do. But this is weird. And so anyway, but yeah, Michael J. Fox was really good in the movie. And I don't know the actor's name, but he plays like the nerd. You know what I'm saying? Like the math nerd. I like him in everything. He just has this just delivery of David Paymer.
Yeah.
He's great. I just love his bits. So my 5-word review. I do. I like his. There's no way to say that without sounding. Oh my gosh, Andrew! It looks like you have a flashlight on because you've run out of power. Like,
yeah. Is the hamster wheel stopped in the house? It's
bust out some Simon and Garfunkel. That's what it looked like.
I still don't know if he can
I
hear
don't
us.
think he can hear us, but this is great. This is the best podcast we've ever done. I'm so glad you're here with us, Melissa, for this one.
Absolutely.
And I'm back.
Nice.
There he is.
So my 5-word.
Now, here's the thing. You know what this movie reminded me of?
What's that?
This feels like a pilot episode for West Wing, where it's not quite all there, but yet it's still, there's going to be something good to come out of it.
Yeah, I can kind of see why you say that. I mean, obviously the pilot does kind of feel that way of the West Wing, but the pilot itself is still a really great episode.
Yes, it is.
Which is unique. But yeah, I can kind of see that. I mean, it does kind of feel like a 2-hour rom-com of pilot of the West Wing. And as I'm taking my notes, I was trying to think, okay, I got to review the movie, not compare it to West Wing. Like it's like when
hard not to.
It's like when we watch a movie that's based on a book. We try not to always just compare it to the book. We want to try to review it on the merits of the movie itself. And so I was trying to do that as well. And like one of the biggest things I cued in on is that it's so much brighter in this movie than it is in the West Wing. The West Wing is darkly lit. It's always dark on that set. And this one was like, oh my gosh, it's like nuclear explosion outside. It's so bright. Like you can actually see out the windows and see, the Marine One landing and stuff like that. So it's fun details like that I really enjoyed. My 5-word review is simply rom-com meets Aaron Sorkin.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, just pretty simple.
Sure.
Little thing there. I think I actually just did write a review. Like this is if someone asked me what is the American president, I would say, Aaron Sorkin wrote a rom-com. Yeah. So I'm reading back over my notes. So my wife watched this with me, as she is wont to do, to watch the movies with me, and unless it's just going to be something that I say you don't want to watch this one.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that she cued in on, and Sam, you and I have had a topic on a very short-lived other podcast we did together. Annette Bening is 14 years younger than Michael Douglas.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and it was so weird because I'm usually more sensitive to that. It didn't hit me, but Sarah was very aware of it. I mean, we were 10 minutes into watch it, and she's like, "Gosh, she is so much younger than him." And I thought, "Wait, really?"
Oh, Hollywood is so creepy sometimes.
Yeah,
it really is.
Yeah, just like we had the conversation about Obi-Wan, or not Obi-Wan, but Anakin and Padme.
Yes.
Can we have that conversation? Because it was weird. Because when they brought him out in the first episode, and then all of a sudden, the second episode, he's like madly in love with her, and I'm like, wait, he was just a toddler. Like just a few minutes ago, he was a toddler. I don't understand what's happening.
Yeah.
So that always catches me too. I don't know if it's a thing with women, but you can tell an age difference pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Usually I catch that, but this one didn't bother me. I don't know why. Maybe I think it was her hair. Her hair actually, and maybe this is just me, and this is probably sexist, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I feel like those shorter haircuts sometimes make women look older, and
I did not.
I don't know if that's true, but I don't know.
Yeah, I did not realize there was such an age difference. It did not appear to me that big a difference in this one.
Hey,
but now that I'm not going to be able to not see it now.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like an earwig. It'll stick with you now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell you
Well,
what, another thing that kind of bothered me about this movie was when Michael Douglas's character, President Shepard, always seemed to pick on Lewis, which was Michael J. Fox's character. Like he was never like nice to him, overtly nice. He was always like on the attack every time he talked to him. And I didn't notice it when I was younger, but now I'm like, why is he so aggressive with him? He's just trying to point out that maybe this isn't the way we should go. And he's like, what you should do. It just caught me off guard, and I was just like, wow, he is super aggressive with him. But I don't know.
yeah, I think I think maybe the intention of the director and writer is to show that this team is more of a family than just coworkers, and that Sam and I bust each other chops all the time because we've known each other for
82 years.
Well, legit 20 years at this point.
Oh, yeah.
So, and it feels like 82, believe me.
Yes.
But I see your point, Melissa. You're right. He does bust on him. I mean, like the opening clip I played is literally like, oh, is he gonna be mad at me? Oh, here he is. He's yelling at me. It's
Monday morning again.
But in fairness, he does give it back. You know what I'm saying?
Well, at the end.
Well, but he also does kind of push the president, I think, a little bit too. Probably more than I think some would be allowed to. I think. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know.
Right? Isn't he an advisor?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I would obviously I really have no idea, obviously, because I've never been near a White House. So I only have what the West Wing has taught me and what you glean from news articles and whatever. So I have no idea. Maybe that's exactly how it is. Maybe they're able to say whatever the heck they want to say to the president. I literally have no idea. So, but
a good leader will not surround themselves with yes men.
Yeah, you want to surround yourself with. Even Aaron Sorkin wrote for the West Wing. He likes to surround himself with smart people that disagree with him. So
yeah.
But it was kind of a point in this movie too. Like anytime he got like questioned, he just flew off the handle. Like when AJ was like, when he was going through the whole how's a cheap view from the cheap seats, and all of a sudden he was just like, you know what? Shoved that pull cue down on the table and was like, you know what? Screw you. And like, all right, man.
Sure.
Doesn't like to be questioned. So.
Yeah, their scene got pretty heated, and AJ did step over the line, and then in the final moment where he was like, because they're yelling at each other as men do. We yell at each other, and you take it too far when he's like, where would I be without you? And he's like, then you'd be the most popular president at the Harvard Society or whatever he says, right? Like, he basically says you wouldn't be a president without me. And again, I have to compare to the West Wing, because in the West Wing, that relationship is the same, but the attitude is different. Like in the West Wing, Martin Sheen's character loves his chief of staff for getting him there. He says, there's an episode where he says, I wouldn't be here without you. You should be standing here, not me. And he says, no, this was always about getting you there. Whereas in this moment, it was kind of like, Mr. President, I'm tired of your lip, and I'm going to put you in your place for just a minute because you've been playing this thing wrong with the relationship. But so you've been doing some bad politicking here, and that's why you've dropped 20 points in 7 weeks. So,
which is a lot, by the way.
It really is
a whole heck of a lot.
Yeah,
it just reminded me of an angry teenager who got told no. Like or my 2-year-old. Reminds me of my 2-year-old when I say no. Just completely just fly off the handle and start pouting.
No,
that's what he acted like every time. If they meant to write it that way, he played it very well because it's very convincing. But no.
Yeah, well, yeah. I guess he's in my limited view of what it is. Presidents have to have big egos. They have to in order to have the responsibility of what their job is. They need to. But you're not wrong. Michael Douglas does kind of play this as a dude with a fragile ego. And
which you can't have in a public office. You just can't.
Yeah, because which is weird because when they're dancing, she's like, "How do you do it?" He goes, "What are you talking about?" She goes, "How do you have people staring at you all the time and like all this stuff?" Like she's asking them this thing, and of course he's like, "Well, they're actually staring at you. They're not staring at me." And he's kind of deflecting a little bit, but so like in that moment he's playing it cool, but that's because he's with her. But when it's time to be president, he kind of does. He's no President Bartlett. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. What else? I also never realized how much the West Wing intro was like this intro.
Yes.
Opening credits. My gosh. But that's okay. That's all my notes, really. You guys, anything? I mean, I don't want to make you feel people think that who are listening to this that we all hated this movie. Well, I guess I can't speak for the three of you. I actually had a good time with this. I had fun with it. Again, it was like fanfic for me. I'm sitting here going, "Hey, look," So,
Yeah.
was there anything in particular that you guys really liked about it?
I
Just
liked
the Sorkin. Yeah.
I liked Lucy, his daughter, because
Oh.
she was in Little Giants, and I
Yeah.
thought that I could bring that up because I'm pretty sure somebody else has a talking point on it.
Oh well, I feel like I've beat that dead
I'm sure
horse
he
a
would
little
want to
bit.
toot that horn, right?
Oh no, never,
No.
never. No one,
Hey, toot
anybody
that
Speaking of-
horn! Did I say toot the horn? That's a nice little joke there.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay, hang in there. She can't play an E flat scale, but she can play "Hail to the Chief." Come on, get out of here.
Right. Well, they probably just taught her that one thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, like the E flat scale is literally like the easiest scale to play as far as the physical positions of the trombone. But
As a band director, I was judging her tone quality really badly.
Oh no.
I thought, she wouldn't make it in my band. Sorry.
Remind me
Yeah.
never to link you anything that I've ever done.
yeah,
Aw.
Shauna Waldron's great. She was, like you said, she's in Little Giants, and she was a lot of fun as the icebox in those movies. And as everyone that listens to the show for more than 5 minutes knows, that yes, I did work with her on a pilot for a terrible TV show, and she was she was very lovely.
Did you run into her?
Yes, many times, and
Okay.
she was very lovely. And
On purpose.
Car?
to what was you?
Car?
No. That's another inside joke from many episodes ago where I told the story. We were watching a movie that had Ashley Judd in it, and I told the story how I was working in Charlotte in 2012. We had the Democratic National Convention, and so she was talking at one of the sites that I was working as a stagehand, and so I was walking around the corner to go to my position. And she came around the corner at the same time, and we literally like crashed into each other. And she's just a tiny little person, right? She's like 5'3", right? And I almost knocked her over, and I said, "Oh, I'm so sorry, Miss Judd." And she said, and she kind of said, "Oh, it's okay." And we kind of, so that was the joke, right? I ran into her. So every time whenever I name drop an actor that I've met, Sam likes to ask that I run into them. That's the origin story of that joke from a long time ago. Let's see. That was Olympus Has Fallen, right? So that was Olympus Has Fallen was episode 2, episode 2. So that joke has been going since episode 2. Yeah.
Long time for a joke to run.
Yeah, I'm trying to think how long has the boom under the horse been going along too?
Oh my God.
I'm trying to remember.
Before my time.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember why we even did that one, but again, the for those who haven't heard that story, I did a Western, so we had horses on set.
On purpose?
Which part? I did a Western, or that there were horses? Yes, we had horses on set on purpose, and I did work a Western on purpose because they were paying me, so I worked it. And the animal handler there told me not to put the boom above a horse's head because it freaks them out. They don't like things over their heads. And so whenever we would have dialogue near the horse, if you were standing next to the horse, I would have to have the boom pole low underneath. So that's where Sam gets the joke boom under the horse. So anytime like a boom is ever mentioned or seen accidentally in a shot, he'll say, "They should have boomed under the horse." So there you go. There's the origin of that inside
I think
joke.
what Melissa's getting at is we need some new jokes. We need
Yeah,
some material.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying that at all.
Now, and I will say
Would you
that
like me to be patronizing or no?
no, patronizing is
While
like,
you're here.
yeah, is like our default setting, so it's totally fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Especially when it comes to Opie.
Oh, absolutely.
So.
Yeah. And
I'm red.
And the last thing I'll say about Shauna is that, so we've had on the show Will Triplett, friend of the show. We had him on, and he worked with me on that pilot also, and he was an actor. And so when I mentioned we were doing this show, he asked me on Facebook, "Hey, you should send her a Facebook message." And so I did, but she has not even yet checked that message. So I feel like I'm pretty low.
You're low on the totem pole.
Yeah, I'm pretty low on the order of. I'm not even worth looking at the message, which is fine. Again, it was 15 years ago. I doubt she would even recognize me.
Are you trying to guilt trip another guest on our show?
I would love to have her on the show, but I don't. But she would have to listen to be guilted.
I don't know. It feels a little like a guilt trip. That's kind of where I'm.
Do you think maybe she's listened to an episode or two and then was like, no, I'm not gonna.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I really think my only way in that would be is if Will, like text her and be like, "Hey, you should do this thing because my friend is cool." But
She's probably like, "Why is this guy name dropping me all the time?"
Yeah.
Wait, is that the guy that ran into Shauna?
Yeah. Anyway, we're gonna move on. So, because no one else cares. No, we've lost most of our audience at this point anyway. The last couple notes I did was that poor agent that had to break up the kiss. I mean, yeah, you almost feel bad for that guy. I don't feel bad for the couple making out in the plate room.
Yeah.
But the fact that the agent has to interrupt them, I felt kind of bad for them. Which
This
I always
means they bomb Seastad. Like, how do you just break into there? Good memory she's gonna have forever.
Yeah.
Remember that time?
Well, let me ask you. Actually, there's something I wanted to ask, and that was, did it sometimes feel like the president was bullying her into dating him?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Didn't it feel a little heavy-handed with the whole?
Yeah.
You're going on a date with me. So.
Yeah.
Let's have our first date be a very public state dinner with the press. Yeah.
It felt strange. Yeah.
Well, this movie can't be made the way it was made now, post Me Too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because you're not wrong, Sam. It's a little bit of I don't know if I want to use the word bullying, but he's definitely using the power of his office to kind of influence her, and
had he not been president, she would not have dated him.
Exactly.
You checked the list to make sure that this hasn't been brought up at some point.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. So,
but I felt I maybe because I'm a little bit more woke to that type of thing, and yes, I use the word woke.
Boy.
But it did seem a little strange to me.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not wrong. I keyed on that too. I just didn't write it down. But you're right. I felt that a little bit too. It's like, okay, cool your jets, little guy. Just. I mean, but in fairness, well, okay, I was gonna say it's not like she said no, but she kind of did a couple times.
She did.
She even went there to break up with him, and then he was like, "Hey, I'm having dinner at your house or something." Like, I don't know. I think. I almost feel like rom-coms have given this idea that that's okay to just aggressively pursue someone like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're handsome and she's attractive and it's there's happy music, then it's cute, and then at the end it's fine. But like, you change the context, and then it's a Lifetime movie and he's the bad guy. You know what I'm saying? So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anyway. That's it. I already mentioned my tropes. Time for some clippy clips. So I have a few here. Here's one about the NRA.
Of the week. Oh, and Leon, don't be the nice, sweet guy from Brooklyn on this one. Do what the NRA does.
Well, scare the shit out of him?
Exactly.
I can do that.
There you go. I like that guy. he is also one of our Star Trek connections in this movie. If you like
Space Force.
No. If you like The West Wing, then as soon as I heard this, I immediately stopped the movie and recorded it.
Thank you, Mr. President.
What's next?
Security.
What's next?
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. President.
What's next?
Security.
There's a lot of people talking, but yeah, he says what's next. So that's a
West Wing thing.
That's a big West Wing thing. Yeah.
Maybe I
So
should
I
have
guess
watched
I
the
should
West
watch
Wing.
the West Wing.
Yeah, maybe I
I-
should have watched it before I did this.
Yeah, watch all. Oh, sorry, it was loud. Watch all
It's so
7
good.
I've
seasons.
never seen an episode.
Oh,
Really?
dude, it's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good. It makes you have faith in our government that they're actually trying to do something to help people.
Yeah. I mean,
On both sides, too. It doesn't demonize Republicans. It doesn't demonize Democrats. It just, it's hopeful.
it
And
is a
it's
little
nice.
Pollyanna. It is a little hope.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, but there are moments where, like I said, it's a Democratic president with a Democratic staff written by a Democrat, right? Aaron Sorkin is a lifelong liberal, and that's there's nothing hidden in that. But even when they have to deal with the Republicans, there's a line early in the series where someone says they're the enemy, and Leo, who is the chief of staff, says, played by John Spencer, who says, no, they are not the enemy. They are our opponent. They are our opponent. There's a lot of vowels. And
Yeah.
and there's
I wish people would look at it that way today.
yeah, it was really
Yeah,
it's really lovely in
that's
that, and
sad,
so
yeah.
it's a really good show. I can't remember. Sam was one of the people that actually said you need to watch it, and but against my normal better judgment, I actually listened to him, and since then I've now watched it all the way through at least 4 times. So it's kind of my it is honestly it's my comfort food, especially during COVID. It's been kind of, you get home from a weird day at work or whatever, or just a stressful day because of you accidentally turned on the news and heard some terrible stat, right? And so it's like, all right, I'm just gonna put West Wing on in the background just to have it there while I'm cooking dinner or something, or just whatever. So it really is that, like that and Psych are kind of my 2 happy places if I
Comfort
need
foods,
something, which also has Charlie. It's the same. Dule Hill is in both, but
It's like The Office and Parks and Rec for me.
Sure.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
It's comfort food. Yeah.
It's a happy zone.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I will say this, Andrew, I guess it's a slight spoiler, but the West Wing does an episode. Now it's before the American Office, the British Office was out, but they do a documentary episode in the West Wing where they're aware that there's a documentary crew. It's actually kind of a terrible episode. It's probably
That was a live episode, wasn't it?
No. They did a
It
live
was a live episode.
They
yeah.
did one recently on a stage as a stage play.
But they did a a stage production, not the recent one, but a actual episode is live.
Well, they did. Yeah, they filmed the debate. The debate was live.
Yeah.
And there's a great in the podcast, The West Wing Weekly. The writer of that episode talks about all the things that the actors got wrong because they just forgot. Because they filmed it.
Is Martin Sheen a master debater?
Yeah. Thanks for bringing it back down to our normal level. I appreciate that.
Well, I figured we were running rabbits, as they say.
Yeah.
And,
here's a. I don't know why I like this in movies, and they do. It's not just Aaron Sorkin, but a lot of movies will do this, where like someone's gonna do a thing and you can't, but they think it's because of the other thing, but it's because of this thing instead. So here you go.
You can't do that, Sidney.
With all due respect, Mr. President, who's going to stop me?
Well, if you go through that door, the United States Secret Service. That's my private office.
Which makes me think, It's a funny line, but does he have Secret Service in his personal office just in case someone from the Oval goes in there?
That seems weird.
It does seem weird. I mean, I get the
Seems
line,
overkill.
but it's
And was
Again,
it
he's
me or
bullied her.
did I thought that's how she came into the room.
Yeah, I thought so too.
And then she tried to leave the same door, and he was like, "No, that's my private." And I thought, well, okay, I must have missed that.
yeah. I know from the set of the West Wing, the TV show, and this is the same set. They built this set for the movie Dave, and then they used it for this movie, and then they repurposed it for the West Wing. But that door goes to the chief of staff's office. So, like, I didn't know that the president had a private office. I thought the Oval was his office. So, anyway, but it's a funny line. This is a great. I love this, and they dive into it into an episode of The West Wing. They get into the meat of what this means, but in the we only get a few seconds to kind of hang out in this moment. But this is just a wonderful thing.
It's decisive, it's low risk, and it's a proportional response.
Someday someone's going to have to explain to me the virtue of a proportional response.
Yep.
Yeah.
The virtue of a proportional response.
That's a very Sorkin type of saying.
Yeah,
Do
it
that.
is.
Yeah.
And like I said, they
That
get.
whole-
Go ahead.
That whole scene there where he was saying, you know, I just gave the order, janitor's going to work, and I just gave the order to have him killed.
Yeah.
Like, it brings you back to like reality. Like, this is the decisions that this guy is making, our
Yeah.
president is making. They're hard decisions, you know, and it makes him human. That he actually feels the weight of these things. It's kind of a good, very good writing,
Yeah.
because
Mhm.
and very good acting, because he was very, you know, very, very remorseful, and almost felt like he shouldn't have. He acted like he shouldn't have done it. You know.
He feels the weight of his decision, right?
Right.
And we would hope our elected officials would all feel that way, right? That they would
Mhm.
weigh lives against their decisions and things like that, so that they could, we could sleep safe at night. So there's opportunity cost with everything they do. But it's nice to see that side of it. And he does. Again, and people are screaming at us in their cars or wherever right now. Stop talking about West Wing. But they do that a lot in West Wing. That's where they get a little self-righteous sometimes, when they start talking about the repercussions of some of their actions, especially when it goes on others. When their actions involve military and bombing and things like that.
You unmuted, Andrew. You look like you're ready with a retort.
No, I wasn't.
Oh, okay. You just unmuted. I figured you were ready to go. I was just going to add to Melissa's point about one of the scenes well acted, and to add to Sam's point about feeling the weight of it. Michael Douglas, the president, who is not a military man, so he's not used to, for lack of a better word, he's not used to killing. So these generals are in the room. They're just, it almost seems like they're not understanding where he's coming from. They're like, we're going to blow up this target. He goes, how many people work in the building? Well, why does it matter? How many people are in the building? Well, we can't know that. We'll find out. Well, when's the night shift? Like, he's asking these questions. He wants to destroy the material with as few human lives lost that he can.
Mm-hmm.
And it does weigh on him, unlike what it does to these generals that are used to this kind of thing. And my intro, my middle name for, I think, Andrew, was when the president asks, how many people are we going to hit, or how many people are we going to kill? And he says, well, it'll be more if we miss. What kind of line is that? And he's like, are we going to miss? And he says, well, no. Like, he's trying to make a joke. People are going to die. These might be the bad guys in the movie, and might be bad guys in real life, but we're still going to kill people from the safety of a fortress in Washington, D.C. So let's have a little bit of ceremony about this, guys. That's not the word I'm looking for, but just understanding. Understanding the weight of the situation. Yeah. So that.
It's like realizing blowing up the Death Star has just killed millions of people, where most of them probably were not evil.
Yeah. You're not. Yeah, I like that bit too. The whole thing is like those are just contractors. They were there, or maybe even like slave labor. They were there just doing a job. Okay. Who here has not done this joke?
Lewis and Robin are very smart.
Sydney says you guys are really stupid.
I didn't say that.
She's questioning your loyalty.
Hell, I question it all the time. I've actually done that so much that my kids do that now.
Nice.
Tell mom I love her. Dad says he hates you.
Yep.
Here is I thought this was just enjoyable dialogue.
Mood swings. 19 postgraduate degrees in mathematics, and your best explanation for going from a 63 to a 46% approval rating in 5 weeks is mood swings.
Well, I could explain it better, but I need charts and graphs and an easel.
Fellas, we haven't slept in 3 years. Can't we forget about work for one night and take a moment to enjoy each other as friends? It's Christmas.
It's Christmas?
Yeah. You didn't get the memo?
And Melissa, you would be crazy to think that I did not cue in on this.
Is the view pretty good from the cheap seats, AJ?
I didn't want to say it because I was afraid that you had already had it queued up. So.
Oh man, yeah. If I could have remembered if he ever used the word review in the let's review this document or whatever, I would splice it together, and then say something. Have Michael Douglas
maybe another
say.
one of his movies. You could find it. Just keep looking.
Yeah, we have to go back and rewatch Romancing the Stone or something. All right, here we go. Time for this.
And now for some more bad news. Ready?
All right, I'm going to cook through this as quickly as I can because we're running late. Before the movie started shooting, Michael J. Fox was still keeping his Parkinson's disease a secret. He felt he would lose the role if Rob Reiner found out. During a basic and routine fitness screening, Fox was terrified that clinicians would detect the periodic shaking in his left hand and eventually connect it to Parkinson's. Fortunately for Fox, he took his medication in time to quell the shaking, and the test amounted to nothing more than checking the heart rate and blood pressure. For some reason, when I read that, I was saddened by that. And not just saddened for Michael J. Fox that he has this disease, but saddened that he felt that he had to hide it.
Yeah.
You know,
He felt that somebody would not keep him on just because of it. Sad all in itself.
Yeah.
One of the few rare PG-13 movies to allow to keep its PG-13 despite using the F word 3 times, but none of them were used in a sexual context. Okay, here we go. Martin Sheen, Anna Devere Smith, Nina Siesmasko, Bo Billingsley, Josh Molina, Ralph Mayering Jr., Richard McGonigal. Oh, sure, why not? Tom Barry, Gabrielle Jarrett, Ron Canada, Nick Toth, and Aaron Sorkin all had roles in this and The West Wing. So, there you go.
List.
Now, here is... Okay, hold on. I got to find my clip. I never have this thing ready. I always feel dumb. So, hold on. Here it is. Where's my... Gosh darn it.
Shoe fit?
Here it is.
That is one big pile of shit.
Okay.
Leave me alone.
All right. So, why was that playing?
Alone, you idiot.
That's weird. Someone put this in the trivia. This is just strange. Being from Wisconsin and being of good moral character, President Shepard is, of course, a Green Bay Packers fan. What the? Oh my gosh, that's dumb.
Of course, why not?
Yeah. Okay. Time for something else. Time for this.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
This is time for our top 3 movies, and we're going to do Michael Douglas, even though we probably did it for Romancing the Stone, but that was so long ago, I don't remember. So, and it's not in my list, so therefore we're doing it again. And Andrew, you have the honor of going first.
Yeah, now that I think about these movies, I don't think we did that for him. So I think we're good. I think we're in the clear.
I don't know what we would have done.
So at number... So at number 3, I have It Runs in the Family, which is a movie he did with his dad and his son. They were all three in it. It wasn't the greatest movie, but I've only seen 3 Michael Douglas movies if I don't count some of the Marvel things. So that is why that makes number 3. And it's an okay movie. It's a little comedy, and it's got some deep stuff in it. Number 2, speaking of Marvel, I have him in Ant-Man. I thought his role, especially at the very beginning of the movie, is just really great.
Yeah.
Slamming old what's his face's nose into the table. It's good. It's good stuff. And then number 1, there's a movie called The In-Laws, and if you haven't seen it, it is well worth the watch. Very funny. Not a great movie at all, but it's really funny. It has the guy that voices Nemo's dad in Finding Nemo. Yeah. It's a good one.
All right, cool.
There we are.
Cool.
Sam?
All right. I've got a number 3, and if it's a train wreck of a movie, but it's one of those train wrecks that you just can't stop watching. It's HBO's Behind the Candelabra, where he plays was it Pavarotti? No. Can't remember the name of the guy, but he acts his butt off in that movie. It's amazing. I've got Ant-Man at number 2, and then one of my favorite movies. Liberace. Thank you. One of my favorite movies that I haven't thought of in a long time, and I think it's one of our lost movies, is The Ghost in the Darkness.
Yeah.
One of his earlier films. But that one's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah, what Sam means when it's our lost movies, we recorded it, and then there was something that happened, and the file got completely erased, or I don't remember what happened, but we recorded it, we watched it and recorded it, but we don't have it. So
it's somewhere in the ether.
Yeah, we've been toying with the idea of redoing it, like rewatching it and re-reviewing it.
How about you?
Oh, was that all 3? Did I missed one? Okay. Melissa, do you have 3?
Yes, I do. Number 3 is the Ant-Man. I really liked it. And I did put a "the" in front of it. I'm going to do that for all of these because obviously it's a thing.
Nice.
And then I have number 2 is The Falling Down.
Okay.
That movie is absolutely insane.
I've never seen it.
You need to watch it as soon as possible.
Okay.
It is a
Isn't that where he has a mental breakdown and shoots a bazooka at somebody or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
It's it was all crazy.
They did like basically like a remake of that recently with Russell Crowe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's not a remake, but it's the same idea.
You know how he did in Ant-Man where he slammed that guy's face into the table? You need to multiply that by like 1,000. It's just
Joel
it's a very
Schumacher
different
directed it.
It's a very different movie from what he typically does.
Yeah.
You know, because you have the basic instincts and fatal attraction and all that kind of stuff, but this is very it's just good. You need to watch it. And then number 1, I like The American President. It's my favorite.
Cool.
I like the humor. I can't help it. This one. The one that we've been we haven't actually been talking about that one. The West Wing, I should say, instead of The American President. We'll just say The West Wing.
West Wing, the movie. Yeah.
Yeah, the movie.
Yeah.
The pre-sequel.
That's fair. The pre-sequel. All right, cool. Mine basically all been said also, except for one. So I also did The Ant-Man. Basically, I'm just saying as Hank Pym. So basically,
right.
Anytime he's on in the MCU, it's pretty good. I also did the Ghost, the Ghost, and The Darkness. And then my number 1 is The Romancing the Stone.
Really?
I like it. It's a dumb movie.
I would put Ghost above that one for sure.
Actually,
right?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe you're right. I don't know. I guess because I think of Ghost as a Val Kilmer vehicle.
Oh, okay.
You know, and he gets killed in this. Well, like a spoiler alert for a 20-year-old movie, but at least in Romancing, he gets to drive in a Ford Bronco named Pepe. So Anyway, there you
Nice.
go. That's that. Time for this.
Wait, what's supposed to happen?
We're going to do this real quick. Out of 10, you're going to give us a score. I'm going to write it down for no reason at all. It's like what was whose line
is it anyway?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the points don't matter. Yeah, it's the score doesn't matter. Andrew.
Yeah, so like I said, I enjoyed it. I thought that it did all three of the genres fairly well. There's just a few things that I had an issue with about the film, but overall, I would watch it again. And so I'm going to give this let's say a 6.9, just because I'm feeling Randy.
Nice.
Who's Randy?
Well, he's this guy sitting next to me. He feels pretty
Melissa, you actually have to go next according to my sheet.
Okay. I really love the movie, and I love the humor. And my favorite line out of the movie, I didn't say it in all this review because I figured you'd have it on a sound cue, but it was whenever Sydney Illenwing was talking and he walks in the room, and then he's like quiet, and then she's saying something like he's a terrible person or whatever, and he goes, well, let's just take him out back and beat the crap out of him. It's probably one of my favorite lines in any movie.
Yeah.
It's just, he's just smart aleck in there, and I'll give this movie like an 8.2.
All right.
Love it. Yeah.
Cool. Sam?
This is always, it's always hard to do this to this type of movie because I enjoy it. It's not the best movie in the world, but it's still something I would recommend, for a date night movie or something like that. So I'm gonna give it an even 7 out of 10.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gosh, I was just saying last week that it feels like it's been about a month or so since we've done a pretty good movie. And
Decent,
I feel like this is a pretty good movie. And as much as I feel like we spent the majority of the evening kind of poo-pooing on it, I think it's good. It's fun. So
poo-poo, poo-poo.
Who's the oldest out of this group?
I know some weird bird just came in.
Hard to tell.
Yeah. Yeah, I have nothing to say except that I'm going to give it a 7.1 because it's good. Oh, I can't do that. No, I have to give it a 7.12. There we go.
Was it tying something else?
Yeah, so now it rests at a 7.305.
Okay.
So maybe I should find a way to make this list available like on our Facebook group or something, just so that other people can look at it in case they care.
Or just put a link to it.
They do. No, they care.
Oh, they care? I hope so.
They do.
Because I was just thinking about this the other day, because the podcast that I've been listening to, the last, basically, when they do the outro, like the ending credits, I skip to the next episode. So I now realize that people probably do that for this show. So I wonder, what's the point of demarcation for people that listen to the show? Right? Like, Melissa, you
today, about a minute in.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's very fair.
You're not wrong. All right.
No,
that's it.
Leas.
The last little thing that we do here that's new and fun and weird, I guess it's fun. I'm having fun with it, is the little game where we name the quote. And of course, I forgot to write it down ahead of time, and I can't read the darn thing. Let's see.
You're so blind.
Yeah.
God, you're blind.
I really can't read it.
Don't look directly into the sun, Sean. Come on.
Oh, it's the thing from... So this could be systematic. It could be hydromatic, ultramatic. Why? It could be grease lightning. There it is. Gosh. All right. So there's your movie quote.
I wonder what that could be.
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? No one will ever know. But what I do know is that thank you, everyone, for listening and for putting up with our garbage. And thank you so much, Melissa, for joining us. It was a lot of fun. At least I hope you had a good time. We had a good time.
I enjoyed it. Yeah.
And
great.
Good. That's great, because that's ultimately what matters, is that you had fun and that no one died. So that's good.
When are we playing video games? Because that was my reason.
Well,
lured under false pretenses.
You you are now contractually you have met your contract and you are now able to go and do that thing. I, however, must edit the podcast now and therefore have zero time for that fun activity. But while they're playing video games and I'm editing, you, the listener, should go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/cheapseatreviews. And you can go to our Twitter is @cheapseatcast. You can follow us on those places. We do have the Facebook group. Feel free to join. Yeah, you can just join and I'll say yes, and we can talk about other things. Cheapseatreviews@gmail.com is, of course, our email address where you can email us things as people used to do. Again, I know we do have an email in here. I'm just saving it. We're going to get you there, Alan. I've mentioned it before. We're going to get you there. Our website, cheapseatreviews.libsyn.com, is how you can find old episodes. Go back and listen to even more of us if you would like. Go back to the beginning where we had the joke about me running into Ashley Judd or the boom under the horse. Go find the original jokes, and your life will be all the sweeter. And seriously, if you guys can, leave us a review. iTunes would be best. More people that leave the reviews, then the more people that can find us. It's just the way the algorithm works. So please leave us a review on iTunes. It'd be really nice if you could do that. Okay.
Or iTunes if you're a mortician.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
We never said the jokes were funny on here.
No, we've definitely never said that at all. So anyway, go do those things. And on behalf of Andrew and Sam and Melissa, again, thank you so much for listening. And we'll see you next week for Gemini Man. We're doing Gemini Man.